Hey everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how joining the military and moving to Japan helped me learn about minimalism. So first I'm going to be talking about the military. Before I joined the military, I was definitely like a hyper-consumerist. I loved shopping, I loved stuff. My room was always packed full of stuff. I had so much stuff. And it was always a mess. I was just so cluttered, so disorganized. But then when I left for basic training, I was only allowed to bring one backpack full of things that I would need for the next 2 months to the next year, depending on if I could bring more stuff from home to tech school. So I had to be careful, I had to be really deliberate about the items that I brought and pack carefully and tactfully just to make sure that I would have enough. I also got married before I went to basic training, so I wanted to pack up everything from my mom's house so it'd be ready to ship to our first duty station whenever that time came. When I packed up all of my original things that I had from high school, I had to do a huge declutter just to get rid of a bunch of my stuff, and even then, I still had a lot of stuff. Like me alone, when we moved our stuff here, I want to say like 20 or 30 boxes, an absurd amount of stuff that I brought here. And that was after decluttering. So then fast forward to when we actually moved into this house, and we had to live for about a month without all of our stuff coming from the States. So that really taught us about minimalism. It really did teach us a lot about things. We don't need as much as we thought we did. And then our shipment finally came from America, and we realized at that point we had lived a year without using any of that stuff. So it really was kind of a reset for us, kind of like, how much of this stuff from my old life do I really need anymore? So we did a huge declutter when we got our shipment of stuff here and jumped right into minimalism. But we definitely did think more about each item that we had and whether we would use it or not. Another huge thing that the military taught me about becoming a minimalist is that we're going to be moving very frequently, so we don't want to accumulate that much stuff. We want packing and unpacking and shipping to be easy and simple and stress-free, because we do have a weight limit for how much we can ship and we don't want to have to pay extra. We don't want to risk movers breaking random things, stuff like that. So now let's talk about why living in Japan has taught me about minimalism. So the first thing is that we don't have cable TV. We only have a few channels and we never even watch them anyways. Instead, we just watch Netflix. And how this has helped reduce, and this helps reduce consumerism not only with us but with other families, I'm sure, is because we don't see pointless ads all the time. If you don't know much about Japan, they really don't have that much space, so they don't want to take up that valuable space with billboards and other stuff that America usually does. So there are very few public ads as well for stuff. So I think that really drives down the amount of consumerism for Japanese in general. This doesn't really apply to us on a normal basis, but we have stayed off base before. We've stayed in Airbnbs, we've gone to the mainland Japan and stuff like that. And what we notice there is that homes are just really small, which is a good thing, because we tend to, as Americans, want to buy the biggest houses. We just want to have the biggest things, and that includes our house. In Japan, like I said, they don't have a lot of room, so they really have to condense the size of their homes, and it just teaches you to appreciate the space more. For example, our home in Kyoto, our living room was our bedroom. We had the tatami mats on the floor, the traditional mats, and when we were ready to sleep, we would roll out our bedding and we would sleep, and then we had a bathroom, a kitchen, and a dining area. It's just taught me that we don't need all the space that we think we do. We don't use that much of our house, and I think we just need to be smarter about how we use our space. We've also stayed in hotels in Japan, and it absolutely blows my mind how huge American hotels are now. Like when we stayed in our first hotel here in Japan, it blew my mind the other way. I was kind of like, wow, this is so tiny. What the heck? Why do they do this? But it makes so much sense, especially when you're on vacation. You're not staying in your hotel. You're literally there to sleep and shower, and then you're out of there for the entire day. So why would they have one gigantic room when they can have 2 or 3 smaller rooms? It really maximizes space, of course, and then it also helps the hotel be able to house more people, and more people can stay there and they can make more money. And for the most part, I don't think the Japanese are that consumeristic. A lot of them really do appreciate what they have. They don't take things for granted, and they're very thankful for all of their items. And that's just something I've noticed a lot about Japan, is that people are very grateful for everything. Another thing about Japanese houses, and even our house on base, is we don't have an attic or a basement, so we don't have that much room to store extra crap. We have like one storage area, and we use it to store like extra chairs from when we have guests, my limited gardening things and like our hose. We don't have space to store extra junk, so therefore we don't have the reason to buy extra junk because we just don't have anywhere to put it. And that goes for the Japanese style houses too. They have limited storage, and the same thing. They don't have the room to put extra junk, so they don't buy extra junk. It's just so hard to get trapped into that consumeristic state of mind, especially living in America or living in Western culture in general and then not leaving and experiencing other cultures. I was stuck in a small town and I didn't have exposure to other lifestyles and other cultures and the effects that our lifestyles really do have on the rest of the world. So if I never would have left my small town, I probably would have bought a big house and continued to buy a bunch of things to fill the house, because that's what Americans do with a big house. They buy more and more stuff to keep filling all of the rooms. So it's been over 2 years since I have lived in an actual home in the United States, and I'm just really interested to go back and see what homes are like and what options we're gonna have when we move back. I really hope you cannot hear that clock in the video. I'm going to explode if you can. So I guess the moral of the story is you don't need things to be happy. For me, minimalism has taught me to appreciate my things. I love to cook and I love to bake. I try to take really good care of those things, especially those items that I really, really love and I want to last a long time. Minimalism has also opened up my life in ways, because instead of focusing on all the things and cleaning all of the things and shipping all of the things when we go to move one day, I get to focus on learning Japanese and making these videos and working on school and other stuff like that. I get to enjoy more things that are going to add value to my life instead of things that are going to sit on a shelf or sit in the attic and things like that. Minimalism can also be freeing for you financially as well, because if you're buying less stuff, you're saving more money. And if you sell all of your junk, you'll be making money and you won't have as much debt, which won't be such a financial burden to you as well. If you're interested in learning more about minimalism, I'll link some of my favorite YouTube channels down below, and I also recommend 2 things on Netflix. One is the Marie Kondo series. She helps people take their hyper-consumer lives and declutter a little bit and just kind of free their minds a little bit. And then if you're interested in watching a documentary on Netflix, the documentary is called Minimalism, and it's about these 2 guys who lived corporate lives and they discovered minimalism and just realized how freeing it was. I hope you enjoyed this video about minimalism and living in Japan. If you like this topic, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below how minimalism has helped you in your life. If you have any other topic ideas, feel free to let me know what you'd like to see in this minimalism series. Thanks for watching. Until next time, remember that your small changes make a big impact in the long run.